Hello. I've been in jury duty for like all day. Same last week. I had to do it. It's like a 2 week stint. Um, Man, what an eye-opening experience. I've never done that before. I didn't even get. I was never on a jury. I never got picked. I didn't realize how hard the screening process goes. There's like 500 people in a giant room, and they kind of assign you to a case, and then you go to another room and you wait for a very long time, and they just like weed people out by process of elimination. But man, what an eye-opener. I was up front, and basically it starts out, the judge will be like, oh, everyone come up here and tell me your excuse, and I'll determine if you can go home or not. And the vast majority of the excuses get denied, but there's like a few dozen, maybe even close to 100 people, at least for me, that were in line like, I gotta get out of here. And you can kind of hear them all throwing a fit or whatever, and like, it's sad, man. It's like people are like, oh, I have to get to work, like I work minimum wage, I can't miss any hours, I can't do this, like I'll lose my house, I have to pay rent. And I mean, like, that's not a valid excuse. They're just like, sit the fuck down. A lot of people that are like, oh, well, I have children and someone's got to watch them, and that is a valid excuse, but like a lot of them couldn't prove that. And a lot of people with health issues, like no joke, at least half the people in this room are like morbidly obese or like unhealthy in some other manner, just like basically choking or on oxygen or can barely move. And like, you can just tell like a lot of those people have never left their house in a long time. A lot of people, no transportation. They're like, yeah, it was so hard for me to get here. I have to like walk up a hill both ways through snow, and the bus takes me like halfway here, then I walk up another hill, and then the parking is so bad and I can't afford it. And like another excuse that just wasn't valid to them. And this goes on for a long time. It's sad, man. It's really sad. Then you get sorted into another room, and like on the one room I went to, which was like fairly interesting, it was like a sex offender of a minor, and instantly they're trying to find neutral people. They're like, okay, like raise your hand if you hate sex offenders, and everyone's like, me. And then they kind of get more narrow. They're like, okay, are you a woman who's ever been touched inappropriately? And they go deeper, like, have you ever been sexually assaulted, or do you know someone who's been sexually assaulted? I'm not kidding when I say every woman in the room raised their hand at that question. I could not see around me a single woman that did not put their hand up to say they've been assaulted or know someone. Which, man, the state of society, I guess, maybe it's always been that way. But man, real eye-opening. People instantly start crying, just sobbing their eyes out at that question. Like, that's all they, like, have you ever been sexually assaulted? Just people are just sobbing, like, I gotta get out of here, I gotta leave, like, freaking out. It's wild. Really basic questions like, do you understand what it means to be innocent until proven guilty in the US court system? And like, people are just like, nope, don't agree with that. And the judge is like, well, what do you think? And they're like, he's guilty, he wouldn't be here, he wouldn't have been arrested if he wasn't guilty. And he's like, okay, so if you got arrested, you'd automatically be guilty? And they're like, well, no, you'd have to hear the facts, I'm a reasonable person. And the judge is like, well, you haven't heard any of the facts here, and how do you know that's not a reasonable defendant? And they'll just be like, no, look at him, you can tell. And it's wild. It's like, fuck, I would never take a trial to a jury. They'd never take me down anyway, because number one, I don't do anything illegal. But if I did, why? Like, I don't know, I just feel like people are stupid. I would take a plea deal. I would never take anything to a jury, especially if you've touched a kid. Why would you take that to a jury? Are you fucking dumb? You're gonna get destroyed. No jury is gonna go lenient on you, fucking idiot. Like, it's astounding that he ever took that to trial. Yeah, women are just crying. Men are just like, I would put him to death. And it's just like, what is going on? I didn't end up getting chosen. I don't know how they decided. Like, it seemed like they picked some unreasonable people, but it's not for me to decide. But man, it had me thinking. I'm just like so grateful, like, I don't care about missing work. I have a button at my work system called jury duty. It's like, you literally select it. Yep, no one's gonna be angry at you. You're gonna get your salary, life is okay. Like, I don't worry about losing my house. I have transportation, I have a car. This fucking car can drive itself. It's like a spaceship. I don't worry about that. And mind you, these are people that are registered to vote. Like, these are like the people that showed up to do their civic duty. Like, they're not the bottom of the barrel of society like one would think. Like, these people actually like took the time to get here, to dress up. Like, I was actually underdressed. People were in like full suits for this shit, and they're not criminals. You can't serve if you're a criminal. A lot of veterans. Like, man, if those 500 people are like a slice of basic society, man, I'm definitely in like the top 10%. Dare I say the top 1%. It's nice that I have like general competency and control of my emotions in a public setting. It's like, wow, like, you'd figure most people have that, but like, no, I'd say the majority don't. Fuck, it's kind of wild, like, just to be grateful that I'm probably in the top 1% of all humans to have ever existed through all of human history. Like, when you really think about it, like, most humans have just been like, came out of their mom in some random town in some random backwater farm, and they did farming most of their life, just backbreaking manual labor, and that was it. And like, maybe you were like really into religion and could read, or like maybe you had some skill, or maybe you were in an army or like Legion or something, but nah, man, most of the human story is just fucking suffering. And I've got like on-demand fucking sugar water, on-demand pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't know, man. Jury duty puts stuff into perspective. For most of human history, you just kind of would go to some guy that was deemed judge, and he'd be like, well, you're dead, or you're gonna do labor for the rest of your life, or just something totally cruel. And we have this super flawed system, but it seems to work. I have no idea how this jury trial stuff works, but it seems to fucking get the job done better than other countries. Same for democracy. Like I said, all these people can vote somehow, and we haven't bungled it up yet. I know this is all like one big experiment. Like, really, America could just be like a flash in the pan kind of experiment. You don't really know, but it seems to be working, and that's pretty wild. I hope it keeps working. But man, go to jury duty if you ever get the call. Don't try to weasel out of it. It'll really open your eyes to what it's like out there, man. It's tough out there for a pimp. Man, I don't know, just really profound experience for me. And these people do it every week. I don't know how these like super smart judges with like their lives all together like go through this every week, week after week after week, just like listening to all these excuses and hearing all these sad cases, and they're just like, yeah, that's just the world. I don't know, just felt like talking about it. Bye.